Alright guys, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Gonna kick it off right away with the quarterbacks here. I think Aaron Rodgers is just way too cheap in this high total game. This is probably gonna be the highest total game this whole year other than the Rams versus the Chiefs. So I do think that this is a really nice opportunity for you to get Aaron Rodgers in your player pool. I don't really mind him. He's had 28 DK points each of the last 2 weeks, so just really solid in those games. And, the Rams D is good, but Rodgers is going to have a healthy Allison, a healthy Cobb back as well. So he's going to have all his weapons back as well. And Scantling is a guy that's, coming on hot, so I don't mind those options as well. It's going to Andy Dalton here. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have averaged 3 TDs given up to quarterbacks. So they've given up 3 passing touchdowns to quarterbacks this whole year on average per game. They're the worst passing defense to quarterbacks as well. Andy Dalton just seems like a nice, safe, easy play. Now, he did disappoint. Primetime Dalton disappointed in his last game, but I don't think that's going to happen again this week. Jameis Winston is another nice play in that game. Cincinnati's 28th against the quarterbacks. They're averaging over 25 points given up to the quarterback. I think Winston is just a nice, safe play as well. Now, Sam Darnold. Now, this is the play I want to touch on the most because I kind of have to convince you on it. Now, you look at the last 2 weeks, the Chicago Bears have given up 26 points and 22 points to opposing quarterbacks. Now, the 26 was to Brock Osweiler, and the 22 was obviously to Tom Brady. They did establish the run there a little bit. They had the lead, and, Brady didn't really have to do much. But so far, Sam Darnold has only had 1 bad game, and the rest of the games he's been over 10 points. So really, if you're looking at Sam Darnold at this salary, going against the Bears, all it really needs to get you is 11 points to hit that value, and then you can really just key in on some of the other top receivers and top running backs. If you want to get Gurley in your build, you for sure want to do that. This would kind of be an option for you to get Sam Darnold and get all those other players in your lineup. And also, I do think the rest of the Jets players, they're all a little bit too cheap, so just kind of not a bad option there for you with the quarterbacks. Let's get into running backs here. Now, there's a bunch of really good running backs as well. This is kind of my way of diversifying. I don't think people are going to be as high on these guys as they are some of the other players. Some of the other running backs I will just mention real quick. Todd Gurley, obviously in a nice spot. Barkley in a nice spot. James Conner, I probably will have a lot of ownership to him as well. Mixon, same thing as Conner. Duke Johnson's a nice little value play for you. And then Isaiah Corral, he's a nice value play as well. Let's get into Phillip Lindsay, though, why I like him. So obviously they're going to be without Royce Freeman. And, he's just been solid, just averaging a lot of DK points. KC hasn't been that good against the run, and I just think this is finally going to be the week for him. I think he'll get you maybe over 20 DK points. Should at least get you 15, so maybe, a nice little 3x value there. Really like Lindsay on this slate. Kareem Hunt, just another nice solid play for you. He's going against the Denver Broncos, who we tore up the last time we faced them. He had over 25 DK points in that game. The Denver Broncos ranked 27th against the run as well, so just another safe play for you. Chris Carson, now this is a play that is really going to be hit or miss because his carries have gone down each of the last 3 games. It went from 32, 19 to 16. A little bit worrisome there, but Detroit has struggled against the run, and I don't mind him. If he does get the touches again, he has looked so good on film. At this price, he has looked just as good as David Johnson, and I know that's going to shock some of you guys on film. Well, maybe not, because David Johnson hasn't had that many holes to run through, but Chris Carson, the point is that he has been impressive, and if they give him the touches again, I really like it. He does have that easy matchup against Detroit, so really not a bad option for you. And then Trenton Cannon here. So he had 9 DK points in the last game that he came in and filled in Bilal Powell, and Bilal Powell was, the passing down back. So Cannon is definitely going to be the passing down back. And you kind of look at this game, and the reason kind of why I like Sam Darnold is I do think the Bears will be out on top in this game. And if they are, that means Cannon is going to be the one getting some touches, getting that receiving work as well. Let's get into receivers here. Much like the running backs, there are going to be some other solid options that I'm not going to mention. I will do it in passing at the end here, but let's start off with Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, now he is a receiver that kind of struggles in man-to-man, but he's really good at finding the zone and zone coverages. Now Cincinnati, well, I messed that up. He's not going against Cincinnati. He's on Cincinnati. Tampa Bay, they do run a lot of zone defense, so I don't mind him. I do really think he's just going to be a solid play for you. If you want to go A.J. Green instead of Boyd to stack with Dalton, I don't blame you, but I do like Boyd on this slate. Let's get into Antonio Brown. Now, he's just tore up the Cleveland Browns so far. And, you know, the last game he played them, he had 24 DK points. I think just more of the same with him is going to occur. If you can get Antonio Brown in your builds, I suggest that you do. Should be a really nice, solid day for him. Doug Baldwin. Now, this is one where I kind of went back and forth on. You know, he always seems to sort of come on hot at the end of the year. And it kind of started last week when he had 15 DK points. He had 90 yards in that game. It was a very solid game, and, you know, he has that bye week to recover a little bit more from his injury, so I don't really mind him. He's priced at only 5.5K. Just a nice, solid option. Should at least get you 16 DK points, maybe 17, maybe he scores a touchdown, gets you into that 20 digits. Now, Anthony Miller. Now, the reason why I like him is because slot receivers have went off against the Jets. You look at what Julian Edelman did. You look at what Adam Thielen did. D.D. Westbrook had a good game against them, so I don't really mind that. Now, you might say, you know, Tyler Gabriel is going to be the slot receiver. Then play him. But I really like Anthony Miller. He saw 7 targets in his last game, so the targets are starting to trend up. And, you know, Allen Robinson is a little bit banged up, so that should mean some more playing time for Anthony Miller. So really not a bad option there for you, especially if Allen Robinson is injured. Some other receiver options are going to be A.J. Green. I already mentioned him. Devontae Adams in that high total game to stack with Rodgers. Juice is a good option. Brandon Cooks and Wood stack. Run it back from Rodgers. Then Jermaine Kearse is just a little bit too low, especially with Robbie Anderson and all those other receivers banged up. Now, tight ends, you know, these guys are all going to be solid options. Njoku's seen a ton of targets. Vance McDonald has been very solid. O.J. Howard is probably going to be the tight end that I end up on the most. Just because he's cheap, and I kind of just want to stack Jameis Winston with someone from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think that'll be O.J. Howard for me. But the one I want to touch on is going to be Chris Herndon. Now, I told you guys I had a lot of Jets in my lineups, and, you know, that's just because they're all too cheap. Now, Robbie Anderson's bagged up. Terrell Pryor's already gone. Quincy Enunwa is gone. Jermaine Kearse, obviously, he didn't look that great. He only had 2 targets the last game, and that's because they were trying to get Herndon targets. He had 7 targets in this last game. So I like him as a nice solid option. Had 2 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Now, defenses, I just think, you know, you just play the defense that you end up on their salary. It's kind of a hit or miss week defensively. So whatever you have left, once you get done with your player pool, just plug and play that defense. Hopefully it's, you know, hopefully they get a touchdown for you. That's all I have for you guys. Make sure to check out the Patreon page. I have a very solid lineup in there that's projected to get over 200 points. Thanks, guys.